Hi everybody, thank you for joining me with SJL Yoga for a hip opener class. We're going to start in child's pose. Toes together, knees out wide, arms out in front of you, stretching those arms out, fingers spread wide. Taking a few deep breaths here, thinking of your intention. Thanking your body for bringing you to your mat today. And taking one more breath as you start to shift your body back a little bit and then melt your heart down for puppy pose, opening up the shoulders, swaying your hips back and forth here. Just really getting used to the body. And then slowly tucking your toes under, shifting your hips up, and making your way into downward facing dog. Pedal out your heels here, come up onto the toes, walking forward into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins, flat back. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Grabbing opposite elbows for a ragdoll pose, taking a few deep breaths. And then slightly bend the knees. Inhale, rise all the way up, stretch all the way towards the sky, little back bend. And then exhale, forward fold, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands down. Step back to your plank pose, one leg at a time. Holding your plank, shifting forward onto the toes, bending the elbows, hug the elbows in chaturanga. Flatten the tops of your feet to the ground, arch the back up. Inhale, upward facing, and then downward facing dog. Inhale here, step to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Going through another sun A, inhale, rise, bending the knees all the way up, mini back bend here. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, plank pose. Hold your plank, really strong arms here. Shifting forward, come halfway down or all the way down if that's in your practice. Untuck the toes, upward facing, thighs off the ground. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths, pedal out the heels here. Walking forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Soaking in that sun. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Plant the hands. Step it back. Plank pose. Shifting forward, move through your vinyasa. Feel free to skip the vinyasa at any time. Taking a few deep breaths here. Stepping forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, mountain pose, hands down by your sides. Sink the hips down, squeeze the knees together into your chair pose, moving into sun B. Arms raise above the head or can come to heart center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Plant the hands, step it back to plank. Don't always use your right leg or your left leg to step back. Make sure you're switching sides. Chaturanga, halfway down, upward facing, and downward facing dog. Taking the right leg into the air And then bringing it up between the hands, plant that back foot down. Rise up for warrior one. Bending the front knee so your knee and your ankle are in one straight line. Hips are towards the front of your mat. Arms are strong. Framing out the foot, step back and flow through your vinyasa. Upward facing to downward facing. Left leg rises. Exhale, bring the knee in and step it forward. Warrior one on the opposite side, rise up. Checking in with your hips, making sure they're aligned to the front of your mat. Back leg is 45 degrees. Frame out the foot, step it back, and flow through. Again, please skip vinyasas if it's not in your practice to do that many. Taking a few deep breaths in your downward facing dog. Stepping to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, rise up into your chair. Sink the hips back. Bending the knees. Hug the knees together. Sink those hips down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant those hands. Step it back. Chaturanga, strong arms, one straight line. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Right leg rises once again. Hug that knee into the chest, step forward. Warrior one. We've been here before. Check in with your hips. Knee aligned right over the ankle. Exhale to warrior two. Arms come out. Blade edge of the foot to the back of your mat. Keep that front leg bent. Windmill the hands down. Step it back to your strong plank. Three-legged plank is okay here too. Upward facing. Downward facing. I got fancy on that one. You don't have to follow me. Left leg rises. Inhale it up. Plant that back foot. Rise up to warrior one. Hips are square. Exhale to warrior two. Arms come out. Strong arms like someone's pulling you from the back and pulling you from the front. Windmill the hands down. Step it back. Flow it through. Hug the elbows in towards the body. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Right leg rises one more time. Inhale it up. This time stay up on the back toes. For a little bit of a balance challenge, come down to your knee if you need to. Crescent lunge. Push that heel to the back of the mat. It doesn't have to touch, that's where it's going. Frame out the foot. Bring the leg up and back behind you. Open the hip, stack the hip. And flip your dog here if that's in your practice. If not, stay with your leg lifted and knee bent. And flip back when you're ready. Leg up and back behind you, coming into your crescent lunge one more time. Inhale it up. Bringing the knee into the chest, arms come down. Exhale back, working on the abs here. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up one more time. Exhale back. Framing out the foot. Flow through, downward facing dog, or come directly to downward facing dog. Left leg rises, same thing on the other side. Hug the knee in, come up onto the back leg, crescent lunge, bending that front knee. Frame out the foot, leg comes back behind you, stack the hips, bend that knee and flip. That is a scary pose for a lot of people. If it's not in your practice, stay with your knee bent. Coming back, leg behind you, hug the knee in, crescent lunge, rise up. Knee into chest, inhale. Exhale it back. Inhale, working on the core here, helps with your balance poses. Exhale, back. Inhale the knee up. And exhale, back. Frame out that foot. Step back to your plank pose. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg rises. Comes between the hands. Open out, warrior two. Arms are strong. Flip that front palm. Radiate that warrior back. Back arm comes down the leg. Strong legs here. Keep that knee bent. Exhale, come forward to side angle. Arm comes onto the thigh. Back arm comes all the way up. Gaze is up towards your hand. Inhale, radiate back. We're flowing this a few times to get into that side body. Exhale, side angle. Arm comes up. Gaze can be down. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle pose. Hands come to the hips, all 10 toes to the side of your mat. Little baby back bend here. Coming into your wide-legged forward fold. Arms come down to the ground. If your hands don't reach below you can always grab your block, bringing the earth closer to you. Have whatever arm variation you have in your practice here. Slightly bending the knees. Coming to the front of your mat into a lunge. Step it back. Flow through your vinyasa. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg rises. Come between the hands. Rise up to your warrior two. Arms come out strong. Flip that front palm. Radiate back. Back arm down the leg. Exhale, side angle. Front arm comes onto the thigh. Back arm comes all the way up. Gaze up. Inhale, reverse. Really opening up that side body. Side angle. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, side angle. Hands on your hips, all 10 toes to the side of your mat, taking a different variation with your arms this time. Interlace the hands behind the back and come forward. Keeping your wrists together to stretch out your shoulders and not your wrists. That is a usual misconception in this pose, making sure your wrists are together. Coming to the front of your mat, flowing through or skipping, coming right to downward facing dog. At any point, you can also come to child's pose if something is too much for you. This is your home practice. Switching into your side plank, right arm comes to the middle of your mat. Come to the blade edge of your foot, top arm rises, dropping your knee if that's better for your practice. Coming back to center. Switching your left arm to the middle of your mat. Dropping that knee or staying on the blade edge of your foot. Coming back to center. Downward facing dog. Rising up to your crescent lunge, going into a few twists, hands at heart center. Lift up on your inhale, create a lot of space, and then hooking that left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Trying to get your hands back to heart center. It's a little easier to see me on the other side, so of course we'll do both sides. Framing out the foot, and flow it through. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg rises. Bring it between the hands, rise up, crescent lunge. Bringing the hands back to heart center, create a lot of length here, lift up, and then hook that right elbow on the outside of your left knee, bringing the hands to heart center. You can see here, gazing up, down, or side to side, whatever's good for your neck. Remember, this is your home practice that you're developing. Framing out the foot. And rock step to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale to mountain pose. Moving into a few balance poses. We're moving into eagle. So taking your knee into your chest. Cross it over the thigh. Wrap it all the way around, or you don't have to do that. Taking your arms, crossing the right under the left, palms facing up. If this is way too much for you, bring your foot down for balance. And if the arm variation is too hard, you can grab your shoulders and work up to the other poses. Untwist, bringing the knee into your chest. Slowly pivot forward into your warrior three or airplane. Arms can be behind you or in front of you, flexing the toes down towards the mat. Gaze is down towards your mat. And come back to center. Shake it out, have a little fun. Coming to the other side, lifting the knee. Cross it over. If you fall, of course, get right back in. That's okay. And then left arm underneath the right again. Again, taking the variations that work for your practice and taking a few deep breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. And then bringing your body forward. Arms are a different variation this time in front of you. Making sure that your foot is flexed down towards the mat. And then coming back to center. Taking a little breather. And then we're going to make our way down. So inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Plant the hands, step back to your plank. Hold your plank. Strong arms, strong legs. Come up onto the toes. Flat back. And then come all the way down to the ground. Moving into your back bends. Coming into locust pose, palms down towards the ground, chin on the mat, toes are pointed backwards. Zipping up the legs like they're one unit, interlace the hands, lift the chest, the feet, the shoulders, the head, gazes down towards your mat, pulling the arms back, and exhale, come down. Windshield wiper out the legs if that feels good on your lower back. We're going to do locust one more time. Interlace the hands. Possibly have the opposite thumb on top. It's going to feel weird, but so does most yoga. Bringing the legs up, the chest up, the shoulders up, the head up, gazes down, exhale down, windshield wiper it out. Making your way onto your back. Going into another back bend. Grab your block if you have it. Place it between your knees. We're going to use it to keep our hips in line while we're doing our bridges. Rolling all the way down onto your back. Heels are back by your middle finger. And on your inhale, lift your hips up, pressing the earth away with your arms, squeezing the knees into your block or together if you're not using a block. And exhale down. Inhale, squeeze all the way up. Hips towards the sky. The block is helping to keep your hips in line so that your legs don't splay out to the side. Exhale down. And then inhale, rise one more time. Big inhale, push the earth away. Using your upper thigh muscles to keep you up there. Exhale down. Removing the block. Bringing the soles of the feet together. One hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Taking a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in. Remember your intention. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Thanking your body for bringing you to your mat today. Remembering the benefits of yoga that yoga has on your hips. Taking your knees into your chest. And then just for fun, rocking back and forth, giving yourself a little back massage. And then coming up into your boat pose, bent knees or straight legs is okay here. And working on your twists, taking your hands to heart center. Counting to about 20 times. Holding your core in tight. Again, core muscles help with your balance poses. Staying into your boat, straightening the legs. And then rocking into your downward facing dog. Here we are getting into our peak pose, our pigeon pose from the tutorial on Wednesday. Lifting your leg straight or all the way up. And then bringing your knee into the chest, dropping it behind your right wrist. Untuck the toes. Inhale the chest back. You can stay here, of course. Come down to your forearms or come down all the way to your forehead. Taking a few deep breaths here. Seeing as the hip bone is the largest bone in our body, it holds a lot of stress, it holds a lot of anxiety. Letting your body melt into your mat, letting your muscles work for you here, keeping that back leg active. Making sure that that heel is meeting your hip. And then coming back up onto your hands, tuck the back toes under, downward facing dog. Switching to the other side whenever you're ready. Lifting that left leg up, bending the knee, left knee behind left wrist, shift the hips back, untuck the toes, inhale in, make sure that you look to see if you need a block under your hip. If so, bring the earth closer to you. Create that beach ball in front of you to create a lot of length and then come down as far as your body will go today. Maybe it'll go all the way. Maybe it won't. That's okay. Each day is different. Taking a few deep breaths here, letting all your stress and anxiety melt onto the mat. Coming back up onto your hands, removing the block if you had used it. Swinging your back leg to meet the front into staff pose. Inhale the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Grab the knees, the ankles, the shins, the thighs, wherever your arms go today is perfect. Flexing the toes back to protect your knees. Breathing into this pose, inhale in. Exhale, fold a little deeper, and then come back up, making your way onto your back, rolling one vertebrae at a time, hugging the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little back massage, roll the legs, and then arms come out like goalposts or like a T, depending on your space. Shifting the knees over to the right, gaze comes left for a supine twist. Letting your body melt once again into your mat. Remembering all of these poses are benefits to your whole body, specifically your hips today. Coming back to center and switching sides. Gaze can be up, soaking in that sun, or to the side to stretch out the neck muscles, making sure that your body is flat on the ground. And then coming back to center, bringing the knees into the chest, grab the insides or the outside blade edge of your feet into happy baby pose, bringing the knees down, stretching the legs out, one at a time, rocking back and forth, and then organically moving into your Shavasana, final resting pose. Toes are out towards the corners of your mat. Arms are a little further away, palms facing up. Gaze is up, eyes are closed. Shavasana pose. Thank you all for flowing with me today and really opening up your hips. And I hope that the tutorial earlier this week helped you get into that pigeon pose, and I hope it benefited your practice. Please remember to comment, share, and subscribe below. Whenever you're ready with your Shavasana, coming over to your right side, sealing in your practice. And remembering to leave nothing off your mat but love and acceptance. Coming into a seated position, sealing in your practice, hands at heart center. Breathe in and breathe out. The light in me honors and respects the light in you. Namaste, yogis.